All right, good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Chat with Matt. This week we are talking with Mud Hens manager Tom Prince. It is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. So glad to have you along, Tom. Thanks so much for taking the time. And first off, tell everybody where you're joining us from.
Well, thanks, Matt. I'm at home in Bradenton, Florida, somewhere where you're really not used to being this time of year. Uh, Hope everyone's well and safe. That's what this is for. Everybody's at home trying to prevent the spread of it. And I think we've done a good job, more or less. But
Yeah, certainly. I mean, at least it seems like it to this point. Hopefully, we'll keep that going forward as well. I know I'm missing baseball an awful lot. How much are you missing it right now?
it's crazy. I mean, since I was just coming out of college, junior college, signed professionally, I have never missed a opening day. This is really the first one. So to be here at this stage of the year is really weird. But you make the best of it.
That is true. It is that so different the whole times we're in right now. Let's talk about this a little bit. How much are you hearing from the Tigers? Anything that you can share with us?
There's not a whole lot of talk about what is going on behind the scenes. The organization's done a great job. Al, Dave Littlefield, and Kenny Graham, they've kept us all together. We've done a lot of stuff of calling players and stuff like that. Right now, their focus is on the major league team, trying to get everything going there, from what I understand. And then as soon as that gets going, then the minor league will start up after that. So that, in a nutshell, I'm not speculating when or how long that's going to be, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're all in who knows world right now, which is interesting. But does it give you a little bit of hope seeing the Korean baseball league playing games right now?
Oh yeah, that's good. They were ahead of us and everything like that. So that's still another month away, 2 months away. Playing to the empty stadiums and stuff like that with the first and third base coach having a mask on, that's a little different.
How would you feel, A, as a player, because you've been in that world for a long time, and B, as a manager, being in a situation where there's no fans in the ballpark and no atmosphere?
It's just something you have to get used to. I mean, if that's the way you have to start a season, it would feel very, very strange. No roars, no boos, no cheers. I mean, I imagine they might have somebody up in the press box still announcing a name, maybe a little music in between innings, but that would be very strange.
That would be very strange. I mean, we did the last hockey game we did this year at the Huntington Center, had nobody in the building on March the 8th. And it was the eeriest thing to have everything be dark around except for the ice surface and players playing, and then us broadcasting the game. It was so weird.
Wow. It's one of the things you have to experience and go through it and, try to learn and adapt from it. That's what we do with everything.
Yeah, well, at least you did get to see some baseball because you were at spring training, obviously, before this all started. What'd you like out of the spring training? Because you're seeing all those prospects we're talking about.
Oh, I mean, just being around a bunch of different guys than I was accustomed to. I got some familiar faces with the coaching staff. I played for Gardy and stuff like that, and played with McClendon and Clarkey. And then Gibby was around quite a bit, so I actually was a teammate of his at one time. And then seeing Leland and stuff, that was fun. But to watch these players and what the organization has done, wow, it's pretty impressive. The pitching that they have is, I mean, it was a starting big league staff. I mean, you could go up and down, and you would be. They're not far off. These kids are really special, and I don't say that too much because I love pitching. I've been around pitching a lot, but those frontline guys that they had, the Scoobles, the Mize, the Faedo, the Manning. I did get to see Burrows before he got shut down. I was on the field when Joey Wentz before he got hurt. It's one of those things that, is unfortunate. But, I mean, they had right-handers, left-handers, hard throwers, breaking balls, change-ups. They were getting people out, too.
I could tell just by your response, the smile that you gave when you started talking about those guys. And that's impressive what they've built as far as the pitching and the arms that are in this organization, isn't
No doubt. It was like us fun. It was fun with Juan sitting down talking to him. He knows these guys really, really well. And, then you talk about some of the hitters, and you had Hassman talking about some of these guys. Travis Demerit probably had one of the best springs I've ever seen going until that was shut down. Frank Schwindel, the big kid that they had, the first baseman, very impressive young man. Willie Castro, Alcantara, Isaac Paredes. Robson ended up getting hurt early. He had the concussion, got hit in the dugout. Woody was playing really well. Daz Cameron, wow, what a specimen. Looked just like his dad. I mean, it was very impressive to see him cover the ground in the outfield. He was swinging the bat pretty good with some speed.
And that's pretty much, you just ran down an awful lot of that roster that kind of is projected to be in Toledo, right?
Well, yeah, and then, we talked about the pitching, you talk about the position players. The kid that's going to handle him, Jake Rogers, got a chance to be pretty special. I mean, whether he made the big league team or he was going to be in AAA, nobody knows that.
Yeah.
You don't even know some of these pitchers who was going to actually be in AAA. I'm just running down some of the guys that I'd seen that they'd said.
Yeah.
But it was very, very fun. This organization's on the right path that's very short.
Very, very sure. And they're all at the top end, which is really cool. And, even the youngster Green there had a great spring training, and he's, slated to be maybe in one of the lower minor spots, but had a really good spring training with the big league club.
Yeah, no, they've done a real good job of bringing those guys over. The Riley Green, the kid Cooper Johnson, the catcher they got, I think it was in last year's draft. He was a very impressive young man, very strong. Parker Meadows, who was actually Austin's brother, I got a chance to see him when he was a first-round pick in the Pirate system. So very similar, So, I mean, they're stacked up. It's just not at the top. It's all the way down.
Wow, that's see, now we're even getting more fired up just hearing you talking about it. I'm sure there's a lot of fans going, "Oh man, we need to get this season going to see these guys." But there's a bunch of them. You think that especially with those pitchers, that they're not going to be long in the minors, are they?
Well, like I said, I was very impressed on what they were doing, who they were. The one thing I've learned over time is I don't put timetables on anybody. When their time, they'll get called up. They'll be up there for a while. Some of them may have to come back every once in a while. That's part of the game. But they're going to be there for a long time as long as they're healthy.
Yeah, the name that always comes to my mind, and this name, Roy Halladay. Had that, he went up, was good, then all of a sudden had to be sent back down. Then he came back up, and he was great after that. I mean, it happens to a lot of guys, doesn't it?
No, there's a learning curve no matter what anybody says. I mean, that's just part of the process. It's called patience, though. All organizations that are patient with their pitching usually prosper down the road. And these guys, they're a very special brunt. And the one thing that really impressed me the most, they all stayed out for each other. When one of them was pitching, that you could all see them. They were all around and stuff like that. And, Juan kind of showed me some of these, how close they were and stuff. Always talking to each other about pitches. Jake was always talking to him when he wasn't catching them. So it was fun to watch.
Wow, that's cool. That's a great little tidbit right there. How long do you think it would take you and maybe the players to get ready for a season? If they said, "Hey, we're getting ready to go," how long do you need, do you think?
Players always said spring training is too long as it is, but I think these are a little different circumstances. I think that you'd rather err on the side of length than too short. So you wouldn't be much off of a regular spring training. You just might not get as many games in, be preparing up to it.
Okay.
Pitchers still have to be built up to 5 innings. Otherwise, you're going to run through all your pitchers every night. You can't do that.
Right.
So I would say close to a month, but that's me speculating. I'm not one of them guys that like to do that, but I'm just saying to myself, I'd rather err on the side of less injuries.
Yeah, I know that some of the models they've thrown out anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. So that would kind of fit right in with the timetable that you're talking about too. I was just curious on your thought as a former player. How long when you have such a stretch of a couple months off that you would need to get ready to go again?
Well, the pitchers are obviously going to be longer. The position players a little bit shorter. That's always been the case. That's why they always show up a week to 10 days after the pitchers did. But as long as your pitchers start to get some length and you give them the adequate rest, and even on the calls, we've been calling all these guys. We got a call list that we do, and we've talked to them at least 2 to 3 times. And you tell them, we haven't heard anything, but make sure you're swinging the bat. Make sure you're trying to stay in shape. Make sure that way it could be shorter if possible. So
that'd be cool because I know we're all dying around here for baseball. That's for sure. All right, let's talk a little bit, some interesting ones some questions that we got via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. What is the favorite team that you had as a player to play against?
To play against?
Yeah, what was that one team?
It really wasn't so much I always enjoyed going back to Wrigley Field. That was my home state. I grew up there as a kid, so I always liked going back there. My mom and dad could always come up. My sister could come see me play, some friends and stuff like that. So I always enjoyed playing the Cubs.
Yeah, not a bad field either, right?
No, not at all. The Shrine.
Right. One of the best places to watch a ball game, that's for sure. Most memorable moment of your playing career?
I enjoyed all of them. They all blend together. But I imagine getting my first hit in the big leagues was a home run in Shea Stadium. So that's always stood out to me and stuff like that. They always screw around with you, and that's what they did. I was a rookie. Bob Walk actually got the ball out of the bullpen, and I think he put on it, caught in the jet stream by Puss Arm throwing Bobby Ojeda. And I'm like, man, this is the first ball I've ever got a hit on. You guys are going to do this to me? Well, I find out they do it to everybody.
Oh, that's fantastic. What memorable moment so far as a manager when you've been a manager?
I've always enjoyed telling a guy who's going to the big leagues, and that's always been fun because you get an opportunity to celebrate it. And as an organization, you get to celebrate those things. So when you see that kid, whether you told him or the next time you saw him and he went to the big leagues, was always cool.
Oh, wow. That would be a cool moment for sure. And I know you would have a bunch of those right now once we get this season going with the amount of guys that are certainly ready to go for the big leagues. During this time, have you had a big home project that you're working on?
Not so much the big home projects, it's the continuous cleaning. The garages, my daughter's done a great job of photo albums. We gave us some time to look through a bunch of pictures that you normally don't get a chance to do all the time. So she's kind of put that together. My son moved out, so I get to see my granddaughter every once in a while. She'll come over here, so that's been a little different because I wouldn't have been here for her birthday. So that was one of them special moments.
So in a way, you've kind of enjoyed this extended time with the family, huh?
Yeah, that's basically how you do it. My wife, we try to get out and sit outside every once in a while and do the things that we don't get a chance to do.
Have you picked up a new hobby at all during this time off?
You can see it right here on Zoom. So we're on a lot of Zoom calls, so I've been a little bit more of a computer wizard, Microsoft Teams and those kinds of things. And we've also had to do some homework on them, so it's been enlightening to me.
So so soon we're going to see you running social media then too, huh?
That's not going to happen.
All right. Favorite thing away from the game to do?
I've done it my entire career. Whenever I get done with the season, I've got a little parcel of land in Southern Illinois, so I get a chance to go deer hunting. So I'll stop, make sure my land's all right. I'll come back home, and then about 2 weeks after that, I go get my solitude in the woods. So I enjoy deer hunting with a bow, and when I'm back here, I like to fish down in Florida.
That makes sense down in Florida for sure. What are 3 things your family would tell us about you?
What are 3 things my family would tell them? I'm too hard on them. Would be the first one. My kids would. What would they say? Well, they told you the hunting part and the fishing part is obviously the easy part. Love trucks. Challenge. No, well, it's something different question there. Love trucks. Always had a Chevy. Love dogs. We've got a chocolate lab Abby now. Then we had a white lab Jake. It was a box head. So just the love of things and animals and stuff like that. And I know I said I like to hunt, but the dogs and stuff like that, I've always had them in my life and those kinds of things.
Animal lover as well. See, there's one thing your family would tell us for sure.
That's right.
All right. When you were a kid, what drew you to baseball?
Something I was good at. I enjoyed sports. The two that I really liked the most was football and baseball. If I would have had my dad's size, I probably would have rather played football younger at a college or something like that. But I ended up being better in baseball, so that's the reason I stuck with that. What
position would you have been if you were a football player?
I love defensive end, but like I said, I'm 5'10", 185 pounds back then. That wasn't real big for a defensive end when they're running around at, 320?
Well, yeah, nowadays too, and they're running unbelievable 40s at that weight. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Yes. If you were in a book club, what book would you recommend and why?
If I was in a book club, the ones the John Maxwell books, the leaders on success, why leaders do the things that they do. I've read quite a bit of those books. They're short reads, they're quick reads, but there's a lot of impact on them.
All right, there you go. Where is one place in the world that you would like to travel to?
Never been to Hawaii. Would like to go to Hawaii.
I like that choice. That's on my list too.
There you go.
I would love to. It just seems like it takes forever to get there. That might be the one thing that turns me off a little bit, but
that is true. I don't want to be on a plane that long anymore with a lot of people. That's a little different now too.
That is definitely true. That is. Our hockey coach is a big crock pot guy. What's your favorite thing to cook?
I enjoy the grill. I'm not a big crock pot guy, but I do like to put a Boston butt in there and get some pork. I do like that off the crock pots. Steaks on the grill.
All right. I like it. Steaks on the grill. That's awesome. Anything you'd like to, as we wrap it up here, like to say to the fans back here in Toledo while you have an opportunity?
No, I'm sure everybody's disappointed like myself, but with any situation that gets thrown at me, challenge you guys to do the same. Find the good in it. Find what we can do positive. You guys have done a tremendous job of keeping them engaged still from what you're doing with these things. I know Andy, I talked to them. Eric, I've talked to him once or twice. I think your mayor has done a great job, the governor there. You guys were way ahead of the curve. So my thing is try to stay patient, stay positive, and something will always come good out of this. And hopefully you get a chance to see these young men this year.
That's certainly the hope. Tom, I certainly appreciate you taking the time, joining us there from Florida. Stay safe. And I look forward to you and I shooting the breeze about actual baseball coming up hopefully soon.
Sounds good, Matt. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate it.